Hello, this is Gradye Parsons. This is our continuing series on the Book of Order, covering the section, The Foundations of Polity. Today we're starting a section which we'll be in for the next couple of sessions, F302, the Principles of Presbyterian Government. And this section is one of the older sections we have in the Book of Order because it was originally adopted by the General Assembly in 1797 as a statement of the historical principles of church government. Today we're going to look at section F30201, where it says, the particular congregations of the Presbyterian Church, U.S.A., wherever they are, taken collectively, constitute one church called the church. Wherever they are, taken collectively, constitute one church called the church. Now in 1797, when they drafted that language and approved that language, there wasn't a whole lot of wherever they were there. I mean, there were churches that were being formed in Kentucky and in Tennessee and in the Midwest territories of Ohio and Indiana and onward, but there still wasn't in this great sense of imagination that one day the Presbyterian Church USA would encompass the Pacific coast as well as the Atlantic coast, Alaska, Hawaii, and elsewhere. All that wasn't there. But they did have a sense, a very strong sense, that we're not a collection of churches, but we're a collection of congregations that make one church. And maybe you've had the same experiences that a lot of us have had, where you've been to a large sporting event or a large maybe concert or some other large event where suddenly collectively you realize that it's not just you, you're part of some emotive feeling that's going on that everybody has at the same time. It can be a feeling of joyfulness, it could be a feeling of sadness, it could be a feeling of wonder. But part of what our sense is as Presbyterians, part of what's true about us, what's true about our understanding of us is that we are all in the church together. We're in our individual congregations, we're in our individual places where we go and gather for worship, but together, all those places together constitute one church. We're not a collection of churches. We are a gathering of congregations that come together to form one church. And because of that, what we care about each other, we nurture each other, we reach out to each other when things are hard, we celebrate with each other, we live this kind of common life together, and we have covenant, we have made a grand bargain to be part of this one church together. And it's symbolic of the same covenant we've made inside our own churches, to be a part of a body together, living our life together, raising ourselves in faith together, being disciples together. All of that oneness is part of our saying, it's not just about me, and it's not just about you, but it's about us and God, God and us, as we try to live out our faith and live out our faith in the world. So when we seek to lead people, those of you who are on the session, those of you who are ruling elders and teaching elders, we seek to lead people, we're leading people into a community, into a covenant sense of being together, that is a reflection of how we love God and how God loves us, and it's a reflection of how we think really the world ought to be. This grand community, as we talk about in the brief statement of faith, this great one community that God's trying to call all of us sisters and brothers of all sects, of all races, of all classes in the world, bringing us all together into one people. That's what God is trying to do, to bring us into one body. And one of the ways we articulate that is how we understand the church, that we're one church. So what happens in your church is important to me. What happens in my church should be important to you. We come together to make a better church than we would if we tried just to be individual little churches. We make a better church by being together. So as your session, as you begin to think about yourself, not just as the session of one particular little piece, one little church, but really it's a session that's part of something much bigger than yourselves, a session that's part of this bigger mission, what God is doing in the world, part of what God is doing in all of God's creation, that you're part of this bigger thing. And because you're part of this bigger thing, in some sense there's bigger shoulders to lean on, in some sense there's bigger strengths to call upon, there's bigger wisdom to be about, there's bigger insights to be part of. All of that coming together is how we understand it. It makes all our congregations come together to form this one church called the church. So I want to challenge you just to think about that with your session members. Think about what their role is in leading your congregation to be part of one church, the church that is the Presbyterian Church. That's us all together trying to be faithful to the promises and understanding of the Reformed people have for the world and what God has called us to be. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks.